My background, again, Spencer Hanlon, is 25 years in the corporate world. I've worked for British Airways. I then worked for one of the largest corporate card issuers here in Europe for 16 years. And I've been a GTD fan, advocate, and critically buyer for the last 10 years. And what I'm going to take you through is my experience and the experience of my colleagues in what happened in our organization with corporate culture, with the way we worked amongst each other, and why, for me, GTD was so important. I was essentially living to work. That was the primary goal, as opposed to working to live. And one such example was flying to Prague for a meeting, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I can remember getting off the flight, joining the taxi queue, jumping in a taxi, having my head down in the BlackBerry, we were using BlackBerries at the time, all the emails that had accumulated over the time I was in the air, I worked through, arrived at the hotel, and just thought, I have no idea what Prague looks like. And I may never be back here again. I will never potentially enjoy that opportunity. So it's very much was a life-changing moment when I realized there was an opportunity to live in another way. There was a tool set can support you in that. And probably the most importantly, and I was certainly victim of this myself and guilty of it, your kids only grow up once. And within that experience, there are a few standout moments. In this example, when your daughter wins the swimming regatta, there is very much the temptation for busy people to not be fully there, to either be momentarily engaged, either mentally or actually looking down at a distracting iPhone or BlackBerry, or fully engaged in the moment, because the moment will pass and you won't get it back again. And for me, this was one of the most compelling arguments for taking this on board. But of course, for corporates, there is also a very real productivity benefit that they can get a return from. You are asking the business to invest money, and they want to see a return for that. And in that, again, in the anecdotal, I'll get more onto the quantifiable benefits we saw. There are those individuals, you could probably within your team name them on your hand, those people who appear to come to work and spend the majority of their time thinking about how to move the business forward, how to meet the goals of the day, how to satisfy the client needs. And there are those individuals that appear to just run from one meeting to another, surrounded by a flurry of papers, with a set of follow-up lists, with an email box that's overflowing. And we all know who those individuals are. And I would venture in some organizations, they are the majority. And so just based on that gut feel, there's a dramatic improvement. Get into the meeting, get into that very expensive time when you're taking critical resources and taking them out of doing other things and sitting them around a table. There are those individuals, typically they're the people who aren't surrounded by a buffer of laptops and iPhones and file notes and bulging reminders. They're usually leaning forward with full attention on the meeting. And they've got clear space. They've got the capacity to take new ideas on, to take on new responsibilities, and to ask, how can I help the team? As opposed to the other individuals who invariably, whatever the question is, the answer is, it's not me, my plate is full. And we, again, could identify in any one particular team those sort of individuals.